In this video, I'll be teaching you on how to produce floor polish or floor sealer. It is actually a thermoplastic paint that is used in sealing concrete, that is used to seal concrete, that is used to seal floor paints. And this product is very, very much high in demand because many people are actually giving their compound floor or their building floor an aesthetic look. In other words, we are actually in the advent of people doing concrete and people doing stamp concrete or stamp floor. So this is actually used in sealing that surface in order to protect the color, in order to protect the vibrancy of the color and the aesthetic look of your floor. So this is actually very high in demand type of sealer in the market today, and that is exactly what I will actually be teaching you: the chemicals that are used, the quantity, and the production process of this high quality floor sealer or high quality floor polish. I want to believe we all know what that is because we have seen it in one place or the other. Also, I will actually allow it to be displayed on the screen, but let's actually get down to the business of the day, the chemicals that are actually used in the production of floor polish or floor sealer, as you probably might want to call it, or increte polish, anyone you choose to call it. So that is exactly what we'll be doing now. The very first chemical you need is called ACR or ACR 9060. It is called ACR 9060. It's actually a thermoplastic resin that has the ability to withstand UV ray. We have range of them like that are actually used for floor painting and all that, but this is called an acrylic, no, a thermoplastic acrylic resin. So it is used for exterior floor painting. Also, the one that is actually is in that category is a polyurethane resin. They are also a thermoplastic resin, and epoxy resin also fitting into that. It's just that it is not actually used for exterior finishing or exterior painting, but because they cannot handle UV ray very well. So we'll be sticking with thermoplastic acrylic resin, which is in short called ACR 9060. This ACR 9060 is actually a brand of from Niceil. Niceil named theirs ACR 9060. Some other company probably might have different code for theirs, but once you get to the market, you say you want to buy ACR or ACR 9060 or floor paint resin. So they will actually give you this resin. It is actually a clear resin, without color, unlike a kid that is a little bit should I call it yellowish and all that. Is a clear resin. I will actually show that also on the screen as we progress. So the next thing you actually need is xylene or toluene, because these are the solvents that is used in dissolving your ACR. No, these are the solvents. You can use petrol, but I don't advise you using petrol because petrol usually kills the sheen of ACR. So you want to stick with high quality solvents like xylene, like toluene, like acetone, like butyl acetate and all that. Those are that are actually compatible. But in this production, we are using two systems. We'll be using is ethyl acetate. So you either choose one of these two, either you use xylene or toluene. Both are actually compatible with ACR 9060. So you use one of those, either xylene or toluene, one of those solvents. So the next one you are having here is the ethyl acetate. So it is actually very simple and straightforward. Just three chemicals that you need in the production of floor paint polish. So you now begin to ask me, what is the quantity for these chemicals? For 20 liter, for a 20-liter bucket, you need 6 kg of ACR, 6 kg of ACR in the production of a quality floor polish or sealer, you need 6 kg. Some person will use 5 kg. Well, it is still doable because they are trying to cut costs, but I love to go for high quality stuff, so I would rather use 6 kg. Then the amount of solvent that you are going to use is 12 kg for either xylene or toluene that you are using. You are using 12 kg. Then you know the next one you want to use is your ethyl acetate is 2.5 kg. You use 2.5 kg of ethyl acetate. So why are we using ethyl acetate? Because we have a solvent already. The second solvent is ethyl acetate will hasten or will help your polish to dry faster. It evaporates very faster than the two solvents, than either of these two solvents that you want to use. So the reason why we have this is to hasten the drying time of your ACR, since it's actually a floor paint. So between, you want it to be available for to traffic between 8 to 12 hours of painting. You just want that place to be available to traffic. So that is when you use as ethyl acetate. But if you don't mind the time frame, you are not time conscious or you are not time bound, you can just use your ACR, xylene or toluene. That will fix it. So if you are just using those, you can now increase your xylene or toluene to maybe 12 to 15 kg. But if you are using this second uh, solvent, you just want to stick with 12, then 2.5, so as to hasten the drying time of the polish. So you now want to ask, what is the production process? It's as easy as you think it is. So the first thing you want to do is to go in with your xylene into your mixing pot. Add your xylene or toluene into your mixing pot, and then gradually begin to add your ACR while you agitate. That means while you start grinding it, as you are adding it little by little. Just keep adding, and then before you know it, it will become a solution. So it will become a solution. Then finally add your ethyl acetate. That is as simple as that. Add your ethyl acetate mix and cover or seal immediately. You want to seal it immediately, because once you add this two solvents, you activate this. You just activate this. So once you now begin to expose it after adding on all of those solvents, the ACR will now begin to thicken. It will begin to thicken because it thinks they've actually instructed it to start drying, so to speak, though. So it will start drying and reducing in volume. So you want to ensure you cover it tightly. So, and also, if you're actually filling it into a container, you want to use a metal bucket, instead of a plastic bucket, though you can use plastic bucket if you are using it instantly. The reason why I asked you to use a metal bucket is because of this powerful solvent, these two powerful solvent, and this solvent also, they can degrade the quality, or they can eat up your plastic, so if you are producing for storage, you don't use plastic, you use metal container, so as not to one, waste your material, because eventually this will be evaporating gradually out of the solution. It will be evaporating, and then you'll be having a reduced solution. The solution will keep reducing and all that. Another thing is, it can destroy that plastic, and then you waste all of your material. No, the plastic gets busted. At some point, I actually bought a new keg, and I put ethyl acetate in one and xylene. Before I know it, those kegs start leaking because of the, do I call it, no, not that ethyl is corrosive. No, it is not corrosive, but it has a tendency, or the potency to dissolve materials, especially when it is rubber materials and all that. So it has a tendency of destroying it. So you want to put it in metal containers. That is that about that. So when ready for use, just take it to the site, ensure the floor of the site is cleaned, well cleaned and dry, then start applying. Then you have a high gloss floor finish, which will be very appealing to the site, will be very appealing even to for aesthetic purposes. See you in my next video.